Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me today, Craig. Thanks for the invitation and the introduction. A little bit about me. So I've been in the auto industry in ITIS for about 30 years, 24 of those years tied very close to manufacturing. Today, my responsibility is quite broad and support many different business groups within Nissan under ITIS. So if you take a look at the value chain for an auto company, starts R&D, so that's my team, supply chain, manufacturing, skip over, which I don't understand, all the way to the warranty piece. So I take care of warranty, that business team, and then do the back office functions. So finance, purchasing, HR, take care of tax, legal, customs, all that back office piece. And then the last thing on my list, if I didn't have enough to deal with, is the region CIO office, which takes care of vendor management and PMO. So a lot to think about. I don't really sleep that well, especially after listening to several of these presentations here over the last couple of days are on cybersecurity. So I thought we were focused, but I'm not sure focused enough. But again, so thanks for having me today, and I'm going to share the Nissan smart manufacturing journey. So if we take a look, we're going to try to bookend this, and the front sort of show what Nissan's ambition is to see what's ahead of us. And then at the end, I'll share some internal KPIs and what some external folks are saying about Nissan to try to show that I think we're doing the right thing. I think we have smart manufacturing implemented very well, and it continues to support our business around providing great quality vehicles to our customers. So in late November, Nissan unveiled something called Nissan Ambition 2030, which is our long-term vision for empowering mobility. As a pioneer in electric vehicles, Nissan Ambition 2030 places electrification at the core of the company's long-term strategy. On the screen, you see three new concept vehicles: Max Out, Surf Out, Hang Out, which again, very inspiring vehicles and exciting to see. So why do I bring this up? With key smart manufacturing principles we've applied over the last many years, we're in really good shape for tomorrow's challenges in manufacturing at Nissan. As part of Ambition 2030, Nissan plans to invest $19 billion, by FY26. I thought it was a good idea to have animation before I got here. So, part of this, so the $19 billion, 23 new electrified models by 2030. And in February, so again, we launched this big ambition in November. In February, our COO comes to the U.S. and announces that we're going to build 2 new electric vehicle models in our Canton, Mississippi facility by 2025. So again, thank God we got the foundation in place through smart manufacturing and processes and so forth that we'll be able to certainly meet that challenge here in the U.S. So now I want to transition sort of into the meat of the presentation and to convey some of the complexities we have to deal with in manufacturing and also how we've applied some of the principles. So just a little bit about Nissan U.S. manufacturing. So we got 2 vehicle assembly plants and 1 powertrain facility in the U.S. Our plant in Smyrna, Tennessee is capable of producing 645,000 vehicles per year, and it builds, this is, I mean, again, the volume's impressive, but we build 6 different vehicles on 2 lines. And then in Canton, Mississippi, we produce 450,000 vehicles with 3 vehicles on 2 lines. And the powertrain facility in Decker, Tennessee, has capability to produce 1.4 million engines, and including e-motor. So if we go into a little bit about what does that mean on 2 lines? So let's talk about a little bit about the complexity here. So each plant, when we talk about Smyrna and Canton, again, each of them has a stamping plant, each has a fascia paint plant, and each has an injection molding plant. But when we talk about 2 lines, that means 2 body shops, 2 vehicle paint plants, and 2 trim and chassis facilities. Each line builds multiple vehicles, as I said earlier, and in many cases, different platforms on the same line. So just to give you an example, we might build a truck and an SUV on the same line. We might build a D platform, which is Maxima and Altima, and the Leaf on the same line. And again, we'll talk a little bit about what's that mean and why is that complex here in just a little bit. So as customer demand changes, again, with smart manufacturing principles, we're also able to quickly adjust and need, again, and you see on here, again, we've moved vehicles between lines, and we've also moved them between plants. Very quickly and regularly, we'll do that to adjust based on the customer demand. At the same time, while we're managing all this complexity, the Smyrna plant was also recognized as the highest volume plant in North America in 2014, building 645,000 vehicles. So now we have multiple platform vehicles running on single lines. We're introducing vehicles, moving vehicles across the line in plants. That wasn't challenging enough or reason enough to implement smart manufacturing principles. So now throw in the rapid increasing vehicle build complexity with an infinite number of build options and combinations. So the tagline here is really, states necessity is the mother invention, or it could really say do or die. So I mean, again, we have to go in advance. We have to go ahead and implement efficiencies, improvements for our business customers. So I'm going to focus in now on Smyrna, so to review some of the specific drivers. So Smyrna was expanded to 5 varying platform vehicles built on 2 lines. We were producing sedans, SUVs, and trucks on these 2 lines. A few years later, the Nissan Leaf came into play, and we launched that on the same line as the Maxima and Altima. So just a couple things. Why does that matter? So just very easily, if you take a look at an Altima Maxima, it might be this big. Well, Leaf is this big, so different platform vehicles. So you start thinking about, well, how do I convey that from paint to trim? Well, you have to worry about how I pick the car up, how I set the car down. You may have movable details on the carriers. You may have set different pins you need to move around to be able to locate, set that vehicle. So that throws in all kinds of complexity in your controls, in your MES, and so forth to manage all that. And now you start thinking, okay, I start with Altima and Maxima on the same line. You start bringing all those parts to line side for the folks to build the vehicle, assemble the vehicle. Well, now you're already cramming all these parts into each pitch. Now you go cram in the EV parts. They're not going to fit. So now you start pushing parts away from line side. So now you have to have systems to send data to different locations. You have to have different delivery mechanisms to go to the line side, and all throws in all other kinds of goof proofing. And then if you're an industrial engineer, process engineer, now you're going, how do I manage to the most efficient to make sure that I don't have this person, the technician putting the parts on the car, only 50% occupied, which then drives new systems, new simulations. If we did this mix, did that mix, what's it look like, and how do I plan this workout? So all that adds a huge amount of complexity to our team, to the business to manage, and again, which drove us to ensure that we had smart manufacturing principles and systems in place for them to manage their job. And then you throw all this in there, and again, it's an ever-increasing bill of material due to just crazy amounts of new technology and convenience options driven by the market. All this is going on while we increased volume by 50%. So the challenges. So when we start, if you go back in time, we had hard-coded point solutions that were not scalable. Definitely worked for us in the simpler years, but eventually caught up with us when we were struggling just to meet just fundamental business demand. Also around the same time, we had isolated manufacturing networks creating a whole different challenge. So moving forward in time, complexity is increasing at breakneck speed. Number of models and volumes grew. Floor space vanished, as I talked about, became a premium. New types of systems, more complex systems were demanded to manage that material and new demand to manage the complexity. During all this change and added complexity, maintenance windows began to shrink. Well, why did they shrink? Well, as the volume increases, you start running Saturdays. And then as volume continues to increase, you start running every other Sundays. So factoring all these challenges plus the high cost of downtime, we had to certainly rethink our approach. So we take a look at this neat, nice, in-a-box philosophy again. User-centric, connects machines, data, people across all plants, enabling users with a configurable self-service environment, and providing operations with a greater flexibility and scalability. Now, to be super honest, we're not that smart to come up with this and wake up with it one morning and ta-da, we have it. And I think as Craig said, I mean, this is a journey and you continue to build on it. So again, due to the increase in challenges, we fine-tune this philosophy and culture. And by the early 2000s, we were definitely hitting our stride and certainly ahead of the smart manufacturing curve. And 100% we are operating in this philosophy you see here today. But, you know, maybe surprising, I don't think the components to make this work in real life just aren't technical, technology, and so forth. I mean, it really involves organization, the people, the controls, the process tooling, the network, compute storage, and applications. I mean, all of it has to be orchestrated together. And if one is lagging behind or one is pulling against or against the grain, things are gonna fall apart. So again, it's so important for the leaders. It is so important to manage and influence all these factors, because again, at the end of the day, to really keep up with it, all these different things are being implemented by different people within your organization, and you really want to get to a plug-and-play mentality. So when some new process equipment comes in or some new tooling comes in, it just plugs in, it connects your systems that you have. The data is just inherent to the way you operate your business. So if you took a look a little bit, if you walked in, took a tour of any one of our U.S. facilities, one of the three, you're going to certainly see GE Prophecy all over the place. Again, Nissan has a super strong partnership with GE, started in the early 90s, so over 30 years, when we adopted GE Prophecy Tracker. We began to standardize and make simplicity a cornerstone of many of the solutions within manufacturing, from just very simple HMIs to goof-proof stations to our initial energy management system, different monitoring type systems up to the complex MES platform that we're running today. And again, utilizing the Prophecy solution delivered across many business and capabilities was tremendously effective and efficient for us. The standard platform certainly simplified our approach, allowed us to leverage a common code base to speed up delivery across projects and initiatives. And really the familiarity with GE Prophecy across all the plants and organizations reduced training significantly, improved adoption, and improved the user experience. So transformation. So in addition to setting up the right organization, we aggressively moved to one OT network, which is something key for getting ahead of the curve. Then in the early 2000s, we implemented infrastructure as a service. And I'm not sure, somebody might call me on this, but I'm not sure the marketing guys had come up with infrastructure as a service acronym at that point. But we recognized that we had servers and just stuff everywhere sprawled out through the facility, which was a huge risk to manufacturing. So we went ahead and created a resilient, robust central infrastructure, and that we served infrastructure. If maintenance needed something, if process engineering something, we served them a virtual server and they could run their application within our hardened infrastructure. So then as complexity increased, resulting parts moving from line side to kitting areas, as mentioned, the call for more technology demand. Luckily, we had the core pieces in place, and now we focused on moving from those point solutions I talked about to really product-based solutions that would be configurable by the business. Again, this is instrumental to manage the onslaught of new demand. What we want to do is we want to do it once, have it configurable, have it very where our business could expand it. So we did one or two, we managed that, and then the business can scale it to 400, 500 stations or whatever they needed, whatever the demand was. So at this time now, if we take a look at our key resources, our technical resources on the systems team, we have an immense amount of data. We're able to move fast on newer technology, new things, new value for the business, while our business runs, configures the robust product and solutions that are in play today. So if we take a look at some just internal KPIs to sort of show this is what we're getting out of the key principles, the core principles, and the different technology we have in. As far as internal looking, based on our everything we discussed, we consistently achieve an annual system uptime of 99%. Now, again, traditional IT might measure that, and my infrastructure is 99%, my applications are 99%, my database is 99%. This is combining all that stuff, and we're getting above 99% uptime. I'd also challenge, again, we feel like we have class-leading flexibility, again, running 9 models across 4 lines, again, all different platforms and stuff, and again, managed an unbelievable amount of growth in connected devices out on the plant floor. So now if we take a look at some popular external reviews in Nissan, on the screen you see the latest J.D. Power Initial Quality Survey. So, and again, we're so proud that on the large car segment that Nissan Maxima won the #1 Initial Quality Award, and then on the midsize SUV, the Nissan Murano won the Gold Award. But then really most impressive of all, and the team takes great pride in this, that the Smyrna plant won the Gold Plant Award for the Americas, which again was a huge celebration for Nissan. So if we take a look, and I'll wrap up here, what's next? Again, we've taken a significant focus to elevate our conversation up at the most senior level, executive level, to make sure that we're driving the best value for Nissan and our customer. Organization transformation has been key. Over the last 18 months or so, we moved we call them systems, or the OT team. We moved them from reporting under engineering to the IT team for Nissan, again, to try to get as many synergies as we can, where we then left alone things that didn't make sense to conform to the IT way, I'll say. Data visualization analytics is huge, right? And every business and everybody's going to say it's huge. But again, we've moved our data out of the transactional databases that we talked about in this robust infrastructure. We moved them up to a staging area. Our customers, our business is able to use Tableau, do all their visualizations and so forth. And now we're taking that data now and moving it up to Snowflake, which then we're going to take and say, as we move it up to Snowflake based on business cases, it's more about making sure that we're cleansing the data. So we move Canton vehicle data and Smyrna vehicle data, that it's cleansed. We've got one data dictionary that now we can use, again, use Tableau. It can also is now connected to our big data environment, Cloudera that we have. So again, a lot of work going on in there. Cybersecurity, as I talked about in the beginning, a huge focus. Again, we've got clashing of IT and OT there. So again, it's a very big focus. And now we're taking, the last thing here is taking the blueprint that we've worked on in the U.S. We've been working with our Mexico counterparts for the last 3 years, moving that down there, and then eventually going and pushing it down to South America. So with that, thank you very much.